AITAH for refusing to try for a baby until my husband changes his mind on a name. My husband M26 and IF24 have started to more seriously discuss trying for a baby. I have two kids from a previous relationship who he has taken in as his own from day one. We have talked about having our own kids for a while now, but only recently have we spoken more seriously about it getting off birth control, logistics of daycare, bedroom arrangements, etc. We were agreeing on just about everything until we began to discuss names we like. My two children have pretty basic names. I wouldn't quite call them common, but they definitely aren't wildly unique. I told him a few of them names I liked, and he told me that for as long as he can remember, he has known what he wanted to name his daughter. I will try to explain this as best as I can while maintaining our anonymity. Our last name is the same as a calendar month. He wants our daughter, if we have a girl, to have the first and middle name of the two prior calendar months. For example, her name would be August, September, October, first, middle, last. The first and middle name are names that I have heard used and do work well, however not together, and not with a last name like ours. I have explained to him that kids can be mean and this poor girl would surely be made fun of. I've reminded him that not only will this be our baby, but she would someday grow up and have this name as an adult. What if your doctor or lawyer was named August, September, October? I personally would have a hard time taking them seriously. Despite all of this, he will not budge. So Reddit, am I the asshole for telling him I want to hold off on trying for a baby until we can decide on a different name? The lawyer part just made me think of Bob Loblaw and Bob Loblaw's Law Blog. That's the level of seriousness I would give to a lawyer named March, April, May, or June, July, August. Remind him that a baby is a person, not a pet. Their name shouldn't be about you being drag queen name though. Hopefully he's open to it as a name for either a boy or a girl and doesn't just want to sabotage a girl with this. Aided a guy with the last name Camp who wanted to name his kids Summer and Bootso. In all seriousness, how does he not understand that this poor hypothetical kid is going to be bullied her whole life? This would be a unique and inventive way to get out of having children pick horrid names and hope that your partner will refuse to have kids if you want to name them that. Genius. April, May, June is the only one I could find remotely acceptable. Tell him that April, May, June is a no and it takes two yeses to name a child. Yeah, ... What he thought was cute when he was 10 has no bearing on the now. Cute has changed to impractical and not fair for a kid name a dog or cat that. They won't mind being stuck with cutesy whatsy for the rest of their. When we were deciding on our first child's name, we decided on Justin for his first name. There was some non-serious discussion of using Time or Case as his middle name. That's a fun thing to name a cartoon character. Thing is, your baby would be an actual human child who may not think it's so cool when they get older. Please know, I have a family member named April May No. With a name like that, surely she'd be a tomboy called Augie. Until he understands names are a TS, one no deal. I don't blame you. I was going to say that you should tell him you want to call your son first name 21st, second name of and, then the month, so July. So your son would be called 21st of July. But I'm afraid he might actually like it. New birth control just dropped. Well, it should be two yeses or it's a no. Why would he be the only input? Is he that controlling? I went to junior high now with the call middle school. It was a family of sisters. Their names were Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I wanted to ask them if their parents were bored with having children. One, as an adult, I met my cousin's partner kid's mom. She used to babysit her three cousins. Their names was tomorrow. The son name was today and the little sister was named yesterday. I kid you not. I know someone named Thunder, Lightning Showers. Husband is being ridiculous and he's in his feelings. I understand being unique and different, but he's not thinking about this theoretical daughter's future. Kids are very cruel and have no filter. With a name full of different months, kids will be as mean to your theoretical daughter as they can. Also, you're right, she won't be taken seriously in any profession she decides to go into. Tell your husband that being unique is fine, but he needs to come up with something different that you both can decide on naming the child. I wouldn't be just his child, so he needs to find a compromise. Would he compromise and just have the middle name a month? I always advise parents to imagine their child campaigning for Congress with that name. Sadly, they never listen. Despite all of this, he will not budge. Tough shit for him. Because guess what? He doesn't get sole say on what the child shall be called. It's a joint decision, and if you veto a name, that name does not get used. This is going to be your baby as much as it is his. He does not get the final say. Tell him that. Tell him that it's your baby too, and you also get to decide on the name. Also tell him that he's being ridiculous with that stupid name and he has no right to be so controlling, and that he does not get to dictate to you. April, May, June. Names are 2 yeses or 1 kids until he agrees that his name is not acceptable. NTA, but if your 2 kids were truly taken as his own from day one, then there would be no trying for kids of your own. I'm tired of seeing people make those 2 conflicting statements because it comes off like he needs a kidney transplant. Yes, those are my kids, but ... I need a kidney. Also, I knew a January growing up and she loathed her name. Call her Cully, short for calendar. We're hearing of March as a last name, Little Women. Anyone? And suggesting it must be May, June, July. I work with names in healthcare. I see names all day, every day, and I've never seen July as a last name. I'm sure it's out there, but not nearly as common as May, March, June, August, etc. So most likely April, May middle names are rarely used. April wouldn't bother me to be named popular-ish, and quite a 50 chance it will be a boy anyway. Then you can name him Jason. July, August, September, October, November. Oof, names aren't an opportunity for a joke or pun. An actual person will have to have this name. Eventually, an adult will have to have this name, unless they hate it so much they change it. Get a pet and give it a funny name, not a person. I don't see the problem. I asked my son, Ford Lincoln Mercury, and daughter, Velveeta Shelson Cheese, and they both think your husband is smart just like their old man. To put it bluntly, this idea is fucking horrendous and would 100% be signing the poor child up to a life of bullying and being tormented whenever somebody learns her name, even in adulthood. Definitely NTA. As a couple or co-parents, naming children falls under the 2 yes or 1 no rule. I accidentally changed a friend of mine on what to name her son. She told me she was going to name him William Robert. I looked at her and said, "So you're naming him Billy Bob?" She said they were thinking of using the nickname Liam. That was the end of the conversation. Something must have bothered her because she ended up naming him Grant Robert. I didn't mean to change her mind. From someone that had a very long first, middle, and maiden last name, he needs to realize this child at kindergarten age has to write this ridiculously long set of names for so many school things. Oh, and not to mention the amount of bullying from other kids and some teachers with snide comments. When they start dating, that's fun too. This can also prevent her from jobs. People make snap judgments on reading a name on a resume. If it's June, July, August, you can nickname her Summer. You'd be tired if you didn't hold off on visiting that fresh hell on a child. I'd never have a baby with a man who thought so little of always ask people why they didn't heed warnings. You're doing that. Good job. As a teacher in elementary school, we sing the months of the year over and over again. I can see kids annoying bullying the crap out of that poor kid. Just don't do it. It's April, May, June, isn't it? Having children is not a game. You are bringing a human being into this world, and as a parent, you should want to set them right. Giving them a name is not a novelty or something funny. It is their identity and how others will view them. If he really wants a family member to have this name, get a cat and name it 3 months. Will he actually love this child? Will he feel guilty when people laugh at her because of his choice? Wipe away her tears when the kids make comments. Allow her to be mocked. Will he get upset when she potentially begs to get her names changed? or turn his back when she changes them and are not an animal who doesn't care what you name them, they just love. Kids care and this can scare. I wish you the best, and hubby needs to grow up and want the best for his child. Naming a kid has to be a unanimous vote, and you shouldn't pick a name that makes one of you unhappy, but also in general folks should take names way less seriously. Your kid may end up changing it when they grow up no matter what you pick. As long as the name isn't Dildo McFuckfist, the getting bullied thing is a non-issue. Names are much more varied now, so that happens less as a rule of positive development, I would argue, but also who cares? You're going to have to teach them how to deal with people being unkind to them for no reason or for a stupid reason they can't control some point. This is awful, NTA, but you may be incompatible with your husband if he won't budge from his terrible idea. NTA, that is a surefire way to set up your child for instant bullying. Agree with others here. Has to be to yes votes. He needs to be willing to compromise. He's not unique in his idea. I actually worked with a girl named April May June. It's April May June, isn't it? The comedian Rafi May had a dater named April June May. Thanks for watching.